Sawate parentes. So here's the second set of techniques, the Where Are Your Keys techniques that we learned this set in class. So here we go. We have accent. Accent. So we use this in one of two ways. Frequently what happens is if a student says something that's just a little bit off, like, I are a student, I'll make the accent sign just to correct one thing and say, I am a student. So it's just a way to let you know, like, oh, you're so close, you're almost there. I am a student. I've also had students use this to check to make sure that they're right. They'll go, Miss Marple, I are a student? And I'll go, oh, no, honey, I am a student. So this is just a way to either correct one thing or to let me know, hey, I want to be corrected. I want to make sure I know exactly what's going on. And we have auxilium, or in English, pull me through. This is kind of like you're pulling in a lifeline. So let's say I ask you a question or we're working on something in class and you can start it, you know, like, 2 plus 2 is, right, and then, oh, 4, okay, thanks, right? So this is just a way to let me and your classmates know, hey, I've got some of it, but I just need a little bit of help, and that way other classmates can jump in and say, oh, hey, I can help you out with this, or I can help you, or anything like that. So let's see, full sentence. You hit the top of your hand with a flat hand, and then you write like you're writing a sentence. Full sentence. That just means that if you respond to me, if I ask you a question and you're like, seek, I'll say, you know, seek quid, you know, yes, what? Full sentence, please, right? Because I want you to respond in a full sentence because it's better language acquisition. Then we have limits. Limits. So this is something that happens either when someone asks a question that is maybe just too much above our level that we're not ready to answer right now. And the best way that I can explain that kind of limits is if your 4-year-old daughter or son comes up into you and says, so, where do babies come from? You just go, oh, honey, limits. Well, we'll talk about that when you're ready. Just limits. The other way I've seen this used is, let's say that I am teaching something and you feel like I'm teaching you 2 or 3 things at once, and I might actually be throwing in 2 or 3 new things at the same time. You might tell me, you know, limits, can we really limit that so I can understand this part of it? Let's see. We have mumbling. No, you don't have to make the noise. So mumbling is used in one of 2 ways. If you're really just trying to get your thought across and you're not really concerned about grammar, you can just show me, hey, I'm mumbling, and I want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying, not, you know, like not fixing everything, right? So mumbling is the opposite of accent, right? It could also be, let's say that you say something and it's not really correct, but I understand exactly what you're saying. I'll just go, oh, I got you. Right? A lot of the time what happens in class is students will say something, they'll say something long and involved because they're really excited and they want to get their thought across, and I'll go, oh yeah, I totally understand. Or sometimes they'll show me and they'll go, bathroom? Like, okay, I understand. You're not looking for accuracy, you're looking for the restroom. Right, so, then we have no pressure, rough fresher. No pressure, rough fresher. Alright, that's just a fancy way of saying, hey man, let's take a break and let's just go back over stuff that we already know. It's just a real quick and easy review, right? No pressure. Prove it, right? Prove it is when you think you really know what's going on, right? Let's say I'm talking up here and I say, oh, okay, boy, and you're like, oh, I think I know what boy is. So you get up and you say, prove it, and you can move around the classroom, or you can speak, you can draw on the board, and you can show me, I know what that word is, that's boy, right? Prove it, and you draw it, or you point to one, and I'll go, oh yeah, you know that, good. Right. There's also quickly. So last week we saw slowly, please slow down. Quickly, right? Quickly is go faster, come on, speed up, I've got this. We have setup. Setup. So, take your head over your shoulder like this and whisper, it's a setup! What a setup is it's a setup to make it clear what I'm teaching you or what you are learning, right? And so let's say that I'm saying something and you're not really sure what's going on, and I might have several pictures up here and pointing to a bunch of different ones, and you might tell me, hey, setup, I'm not really sure what you're trying to show me because there's a lot going on, but if you give me something more specific or another example, I can get it. Another way is if you're trying to set something up for me. Let's say that you want to ask me something, right? You might show me this and say, hey, you know, in Latin, what is this? I want to know what this is. And I might be like, oh, okay, that's yellow. But you're like, I don't want to know yellow, right? I want to know flower, right? And so you might, as a setup to make sure that it's clear, might show me different kinds of the same thing. So I'll be like, oh, okay, I get your setup. You want to know what flower is. Well, flower is, right? And that's the way to set it up so that I understand what you're asking and I can answer your actual question. And lastly, we have times 3. So last week we saw again, as in put a cookie in my hand again. Times 3 is a way of saying, hey, you know, I'd really like to see that 3 times. I'd really like to see it a couple times. You know, I think it will really help me if I can just have that repetition. So what you do is you make a peace sign and a thumbs up. So 1, 2, 3, like the Germans. And you put your hand up like this, and with your thumb, you tap the back of your hand. And that means times 3. I'd like to see this 3 times, please. And that, I believe, is all the techniques that we have for this week. So I look forward to seeing you next week, and I'll go make your other videos. Waleta, parentes.